Often, when I sit down with a veteran and we complete the first step of a disability claim, that is submitting the intent to file, the veteran would often turn to me and ask, what disabilities can I claim? My response was, what service-connected disabilities do you have? The veteran would often pause, he was uncertain and confused, which is understandable. The VA has over 1,000 conditions that they can service connect. These 1,000 conditions are spread out over 15 separate categories, ranging from cardiology, mental health, respiratory, ophthalmology, dental, and so forth. So it's very understandable that a veteran may not know the full scope of what they are eligible to apply for. Welcome back. My name is Mike. I'm an Army veteran who served on active duty for 28 years, but I also served as a county veteran service officer for several years. So today we're going to explore what I called step 2 in the disability claims process. And this is the disability identification phase, or what I call it, like I said, step 2. It consists of 4 parts, and the intent is to first identify every issue, every condition, every disease, every scar, every even symptoms that may lead to an actual bona fide, valid service-connected disability claim. It also serves as a purpose to identify potential disability issues that you may want to monitor or that to look for in the future, especially for areas if you were exposed to either like Agent Orange or like in the PACT Act burn pits or other things in the Middle East or Camp Lejeune water. Like before, this is not legal advice. It's just me sharing my experience and knowledge from my time as a veteran service officer. So let's get started. The first thing, as we go into this process, I encourage you, implore you, first to get into the right mindset. This is a personal and private self-evaluation, so it's not public. So this is where we want you to suspend your stoicism. I've been there. We grow up in the military where some like to say we play injured. Others, like myself, I say we fight while wounded. So we need to set that aside for now and be very honest and to clearly identify every item that may qualify for a service-connected disability. And 2, we want to be very methodical, that we cover everything from head to toe across every type of system that we're going to evaluate. Again, everything from mental health to orthopedic to respiratory to gastrointestinal and so forth. So again, so let's start with the first step, and that's what I call a current self-evaluation. Now, this is a complete evaluation of any current conditions, injuries, pain, aches, or scars that you may have currently. As we have said in previous videos, a key component of a service-connected disability is the disability has to be current and medically verifiable. So first, we want you to identify everything that you may actually have. Note 1, this does include what I had said in previous videos of symptoms. Things such as pain. Pain normally is not a disability as rated by the VA, but identifying that pain now later on when we do an analysis may lead to the source of something, a disease and injury that you can claim as service connected. So make sure you put down every item, every issue, every scar that currently that is present. Note 2, you can do this on a journal, but there's also a form called a VA separation health assessment, and I'm putting the link to that document in the comments below. Most of us have probably done one when we exited the service. I probably did one. I don't recall, and I know I didn't get a copy. And so it's very detailed and it's very methodical. So you can use this in addition to a journal to sort of capture all of the items that you currently have or we want to investigate as we go into the following phases to narrow down what is potentially a service-connected disability. Note 3, as you make this list, make a little note, is this a currently diagnosed issue? Is it one that's diagnosed and being treated? It hasn't been officially diagnosed by a medical professional, and whether it's actually service connected or not, because I know some of you may already have some service connected disabilities, but they may play a factor on secondary as we do further analysis. Note 4, and sometimes this is harder, I would ask you to include a family or friend at some point in this self-evaluation, because often they see things that we do not see. Even in my own case, when I was on active duty, I had several people over an extended period of time ask me, "Are you limping?" I said no. Obviously, I probably was, but them noticing that on me that I did not notice or I ignored later turned out to be something that I could claim as a service-connected disability. Also, our family members are sometimes the first ones that notice or see something that could be qualified as a service-connected disability. And one of the examples I could give many is for hearing loss. They're the first ones that recognize when we don't hear or we respond with huh a lot. And so please get them involved at some point to give their opinion on things that they see that could be a service-connected disability. And note 5 on this section is if you have some chronic issues that are not diagnosed and not being treated for, start a journal. And keep this journal for each individual item over a period of about 30 days. These will become critical if you file for them as a service-connected disability, and it'll be critical when you go to your compensation and pension exam. And these are, as an example, you want, say if you had back spasms or back pain, you would want to put down 1, what date it happened, 2, what were you doing when it occurred? I was lifting groceries out of the car. What was the duration? Did the back spasm last for 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours? What was the severity of the back spasm? Was it disabling? Did you have to go to bed immediately? What did you do to self-medicate? Did you take ibuprofen, a heating pad? What actions did you do, and what was the impact? Were you bedridden for 2 days? Did you miss work for a week? So sort of keep that chronicle over a period of at least 8 weeks or 30 days to 8 weeks. So that better gives, when you actually file a claim and one of these issues came out to be potentially service-connected, it gives you a better background, gives you better evidence to present to the VA. Now, going to step 2, part 2, is a document review. Is this go through your service treatment records, your service medical records, as well as any current VA or primary care doctors, and through those medical records. And for the current VA or private ones, just because you were treated by the VA doesn't mean, that's automatically going to be a service-connected disability. So go through those records and look for items which you were actually treated for. Also in your service treatment records, it's key because you're going to document incidents where something actually occurred, an injury, an exposure. As we stated before, some of these injuries, diseases, and other complications do not manifest themselves until well after you leave the service, and the VA is aware of that. So go back and look at those documents. Now, I know many of you may not have your service treatment records. When you got out of the service, you lost them, they got misplaced. That's understandable. So your service treatment records are available in the National Archives. And all you need to do is fill out an SF 180, standard form 180 from the National Archives, and either mail or fax it in. And that way you can request not only your medical records, you can request your personnel records and any other records they may actually have on your service. And I would encourage you to go ahead and request all of them because it's no charge to you. So I'm going to put a link in the comments below that will link you to the SF 180, which you can quickly fill out and mail in and obtain your service treatment records. And they are very, very critical a lot of times for proving something is actually service connected. Now, step 2, part 3, is sit down and write out unrecorded service incidents. Those are things that you may have pushed through, you ignored, you continue to fight while wounded, you played hurt, that you didn't go to the aid station, you didn't get treatment for. You may have thrown your back out, you may have sprained your ankle, you may sustain some kind of substantial injury which you did not go get treatment for. But also, there may be things that you did get treatment for that aren't in your service treatment records. It is not uncommon where there are huge gaps in your service treatment records where your treatment, you went to the proper medical unit, the battalion aid station or wherever, and those didn't make it to your permanent records for whatever reason. I have at least a 3-year gap from my time when I was in the infantry in Panama that everything that had occurred to me somehow did not make it into my service treatment records. So go ahead and write down to your best of your ability the date, time, circumstances, and what injury you incurred, whether it's a sprained ankle, you dislocated your shoulder, or threw your back out, whatever is. List those down too. Now, step 2, part 4, and this is really your duty stations and also your duty assignments, or a lot of times your MOS. And these really relate to what we had discussed before, your presumptives. So if you were in Vietnam during early 60s to like 1975, you could have been exposed to Agent Orange. You were in the Middle East from the Desert Shield on through OEF, OIF, you fall under the PAC Act. And same with Camp Lejeune. If you were there from like 51 to 1987, you could possibly fall under the Camp Lejeune water. So write down your duty assignments, because a lot of times, like we mentioned before, those are not on your DD 214, but these could be items, one, that you could have that could be service connected, but also it helps you identify things with the presumptives that you need to keep an eye out for your own health. They may have not manifested itself yet, but they could very easily in the future, and that's why they're listed as presumptive. So, in summary, at the end of this, you identified everything that potentially could be a service-connected disability. And that will prepare you as we go on to the next phases when we do a more analysis, we do drill downs to understand what's being diagnosed, and then is or can we not connect these to our actual military service. So take your time, set your stoicism aside, get your family help, and then just list everything that is current and that could be counted for as a service-connected disability. And that prepares you to go on to the next phase. Again, my name is Mike, and if there's any questions or is there any other subjects that I could possibly explore, please put in the comments below. Thank you again for your service, and best of luck on your claim.